You are now listening to Green Room Gossip. Welcome to another episode of Green Room Gossip, coming to you from the Appell Center for the Performing Arts in historically edgy downtown York, PA. I'm your host, Stephanie, and today we have an interview with Chris Velez. Chris Velez, among many other things, is a sound technician at Production Express. Production Express is the company that exclusively services all of our events, whether that's comedy, film, live music, at the Appell Center in both of our theaters. So Chris Velez and the team at Production Express are the ones who make sure that every person who visits our space gets the best experience possible. We talked about ultimate tech opportunities, how tackling the singing competition hosted by the Creative Alliance, known as Your Voice, has gone virtual. Chris is volunteering with Dream Rights in downtown York, which is a community theater that offers family-friendly plays, classes, and summer camps for children and teens. And ways you can reach out to musicians and help make sure those working in tech and crew weather the storm of COVID-19, as music, touring, and tech are one of the hardest hit industries. This was a really fun interview. I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for listening. Thanks so much, Chris. So I wanted to start off with asking you just a general question about you. So how did you get into working as a sound technician for Production Express? I know that you also work with a variety of other organizations, so just kind of wanted to know what in your life led you to where you are now.
So at 25, I decided to go back to college, and I took like one music class, and I was like, all right, that's it. I want to go to school for music. I'm paying for it this time, so I can do whatever I want. So I chose the music industry and recording technology program over at York. So while there, I got an internship at Production Express, and that's what's led me to be where I am now, actually. And I've been there, that would have been six years ago. But yeah, it was all from an internship, and they liked me and was like, all right, we'll keep this kid. And I've been there ever since.
Did your role start off with sound, or were there any other things you worked on?
But I was an intern first. I just kind of helped out. I didn't really do sound. I just kind of like helped out. And one day we were at the Majestic Theater, and my boss, Brad, had walked away while sound check was actually happening. And the artist, Kip Moore, was like asking for things in his monitors or whatever. And I was standing there, so I was like, I can't really tell him that I don't know what I'm doing. So I just started doing it. And my boss realized that I actually knew what I was doing. So after that, I started doing sound way more often.
And aren't you working with Dream Rights?
Yeah, I volunteer over there. I volunteer, like I've done stage management for them. I've done sound design, lighting design. The technical director is a good friend of mine, so I do a lot of like volunteer stuff with them. My
second question is, how many shows do you think you've worked on in your time?
Over 6 years. Because you figure at least 200, 250 a year. We do a lot because we're always working. The summer, not so much, because we don't do a whole lot of outside stuff. But I also do other places and work other places and do other shows for other people. So.
Okay, so do you have a memory, and whether that's like a crazy memory or a mishap or it went perfect, but anything that like really stands out to you as an experience from a show that like you're never going to forget?
Did I have to be working it? So I had a couple of cool ones. I did a show, and I wasn't doing sound. I was just there as like a stagehand. This is when I first got started. We did a show with Nick Jonas, and everybody knows who the Jonas Brothers are. And I was the only person of color there, and he definitely spoke to me and like shook my hand and stuff. And his whole entourage was black. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool that like they're just like regular people. It was kind of awesome. But that was like my first introduction to doing like a show with somebody big that I was familiar with. My second one would be when we had Gladys Knight at the Appell Center. She gave me a hug. It's freaking Gladys Knight, so I was kind of excited about that.
Oh my god!
So that's my most memorable one.
Oh my god! And was this like after, as like a thank you, or before?
This was before, when she came out to do sound check. She had just like walked in not too long before, and she like gave everybody a hug that was on stage. Mostly her people, but I kind of looked like them. So like she gave me a hug, and I was like, oh shit, I got a hug from Gladys Knight. This is great.
Awesome. So it just shows, like, let's just hang around people, be like, they're just going to think I work here, like, with them. Like, that's fine. Okay, so my next question is, obviously, COVID-19 for our industry as theater and tech and crew, it's changed the game 100%. What do you see as the future right now, given there's really no touring route to speak of? What do you kind of see happening with, production especially?
It's a tough one. It's something I think about all the time, actually. I know people have adapted and started going with the live streaming thing. Mm-hmm. In the theater world, that's a little bit more difficult because of copyrights and getting licensing to live stream. And for concerts as well, it's a little difficult. Like, you're not the original artist, or you don't have performance rights for it. Like, there's a lot of variables involved with doing live stream performances. And I mean, hopefully one day we can get back to like being in the theater and putting on shows and doing all that stuff. But for now, I mean, it's more of a adapt and figure it out. For instance, this will be my 6th year doing Your Voice. We've always live streamed Your Voice. We've never only live streamed Your Voice. So like our whole format has to change. The amount of people we can be around, because we still have to respect social distancing. It's just the whole setup is completely different. So it presents like a number of challenges for us, because for 5 years, I've called the show and put the show on this certain way. And this year it's new to all of us, because now I'm doing it specifically for the live stream. So there was a lot of variables, a lot of different things that we had to discuss. It took twice as much planning for us to get to where we're at now. And we're still 3 weeks out from it and still have questions. And there's still kind of like some gray areas where we're like, I'm not sure how this is going. But we all have a love for the theater, so we make it happen. But hey, we're trying. We're learning new things as we go.
As you continue to go through this process, you're just going to get better and better at handling all these types of events. And if that is the way culturally we start to shift, there's possibly room for a whole new production need in that way.
Yeah, and I definitely have taken the time to learn. Because like lights, you'll always need no matter what. Sound, you always need no matter what. It's definitely opened up other doors. Like I've been creative with my source of income, continuing to work and continuing to make material. I've done some videos for the Cultural Alliance, some recordings for some other people. But I've been managing a new artist, and they've been still doing shows and live streams and stuff. So it's been pretty interesting.
So my next question is kind of more of like a dream scenario. If you could work as a production for any concert, any artist in your wildest dreams, who would it be and why?
Bruno Mars is the best concert performance I've ever seen, and I've done hundreds by far. He's an amazing performer, like absolutely amazing. The show, I actually went to see the first stop of his Moonshine Jungle tour back in 2012, I guess it was. And it was the best show. Like, still to this day, it's like the best show that I've ever seen. And I'm a huge fan of pyro, and there's a lot of pyro on the show, so that'd be pretty cool. I'm down for the loud bangs and crashes.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so this is my last question. So I saw that you were in a heated debate about the difference between an opera and a musical. So I wanted to ask you personally. So that was about Hamilton, whether Hamilton falls in as an opera or musical. But I wanted to ask you personally, do you prefer operas over musicals? And as a person who's been involved in theater for a very long time, do you have a favorite opera or musical?
Okay. Wow, I can't believe you saw that. So, what a great question. So, did you ask me first what did I think Hamilton was? Was it an opera or musical? All right, so my argument was musical. Opera, to me, as somebody that studied classical music, I kind of view opera as more of a style of music. And I guess musicals do the same thing because they're both telling a story, but musicals also have words in them. You know what I mean? And I think that's where most of the difference is. I'm sure that you could probably find an opera that has some sort of words in it, but it's focused mostly on the music. So Hamilton classify as a musical because it brings different genres and different types of music into it. And that was my kind of, I think of opera as more of a style, musical as more of a stage production. So like I kind of look at it that way. And do I have a preference? Definitely musical. Operas are cool, but really, really, really long.
Yes.
And it's really hard if you don't understand the language that they're singing in. Like if you speak Italian and they're singing in Italian, great, then you'll get it. But if you're not, you're just there to watch and pay attention. In the Heights is definitely my favorite musical. Crazy stuff that people of color go through. It's a good story. The music is bomb. Like the music is great, and it's just well put together. I think that like Lin-Manuel Miranda did a really good job putting lyrics that fit the scenes better than most musicals I've seen.
I mean, opera's gorgeous and all, but I'm just like, I am so lost right now.
Yeah, I don't feel like I'm bougie enough to go to I think you need a master's degree to understand opera or something.
Is there anything that you can think of that people can do to support production, music, live entertainment while we can't be in a theater?
Definitely. There are so many different organizations that you can donate to. You can donate directly to local theaters. Like I know the Appell Center, they have direct donations. Dream Rights has direct donations. But definitely look up wherever you live. There is somebody that is registered with the Council of the Arts, the National Council of the Arts. And they are the ones that handle money for all of the nonprofits and all of the theaters for those areas. Definitely donate. If you watch your live stream, typically artists or whoever has some type of tip jar or PayPal or Cash App up there, definitely donate, because we all want, like, what would we be without arts? Like, how would we survive without the arts? And if you got it, definitely give to something. Give to somebody. Ask your friends that are doing productions, because they're struggling and we're all hurting. Because a lot of us have lost our livelihoods. A lot of us aren't eligible for like unemployment because of weird laws that they set up for people that work for themselves. So freelancers are getting really like the short end of the stick in that. Definitely check with your friends that do this for a living.
Right now, as we're all stuck in our rooms, what are we doing? We're watching TV. We're listening to podcasts. We're watching live streams. So it's the least we can do is to give a little bit, even if it's just spreading the word, to show like, hey, the arts are getting me through this pandemic.
Right. And if you know somebody, just buy them lunch or something, because it's tough out here for all of us. Like we all had to learn how to do this together. But our jobs are like the last to come back. Like it'll be a long time before we're able to have a show again.
I feel like the day that we have it back, we're all going to be so jazzed. We're just going to be skipping through the theater.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited about the Your Voice thing, because it's my first time back in the thrust of it. I'm also nervous because we can't have an audience, and it definitely is. It's definitely different.
Yeah, because your guys' schedule was around the clock all the time. I mean, you worked so hard, and I know that from seeing you at the theater all the time, and all the preparation goes into every single show. I mean, it's just incredible. Well, thank you so much for talking to me, Chris. I hope to see you around the theater, not too far from now.
Yeah, agreed. See ya.
Thanks for listening. If you want to keep up with us and get more behind-the-scenes content, follow us on Instagram at Green Room Gossip Podcast and on Twitter at GRGPod. For more information about the Appell Center for the Performing Arts in York, Pennsylvania, visit appellcenter.org or call our box office at 717-846-1111. Thanks for listening.